Hi, guys. Welcome to our daily encounter. In Psalm 49, we have the psalmist sharing with us some wisdom in connection to the rich. There's some things that we need to understand about the rich in order to have the right perspective in life. This is how it starts in verse 1, starting in verse 1. Hear this, all peoples. Give ear, all inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth will speak wisdom, and the meditation of my heart will be understanding. I will incline my ear to a proverb. I will express my riddle on the harp. And so this message that the psalmist is giving us is both for those of a low position and those of a high position, but those who are rich and those who are poor. And what he's about to get into here in the psalm is that the rich don't have it as well as we think they do. He says in verse 5, why should I fear in the day of adversity, when the iniquity of my foes surround me, even those who trust in their wealth and boast in the abundance of their riches. Here he's focusing on not being intimidated by the rich, those who were boasting, those who are perhaps trying to oppress him. He's saying, why should I fear in that day? And then he's going to go on to say some things about the wealthy that are true, and that would help alleviate some of the fear that he might have in connection to the wealthy. But I would even add to this that these same truths should help us in not envying the wealthy. It may not be that we feel very intimidated by rich people, but it might very well be the case that we do envy wealthy people, maybe as we see them on TV, maybe on social media. We see maybe the houses that they have, the vehicles that they drive. And in our hearts, we might become envious and wish, I wish I had all that neat stuff. I wish that I had all that money in the bank. Well, this psalm will help us to have some perspective in connection to that. Because there are basically two things that the wealthy can't do. And they're the two most important things that a person needs. So in the two most important things that a person needs, the rich can't do anything about. One of them is in redemption and ransom. In verse 7, it says, no man by any means can redeem his brother or give to God a ransom for him. For the redemption of his soul is costly, and he should cease trying forever, that he should live on eternally, that he should not undergo decay. So the first one here mentioned is that he can't purchase the redemption of a person's soul. And that's definitely true. It's a very costly price. And we really learn this in the New Testament in connection to Jesus Christ, because we've been redeemed not with silver and gold, but with the precious blood of Christ. 1 Peter chapter 1 talks about this. In verse 18, it says, knowing that you were not redeemed with perishable things like silver or gold from your futile way of life inherited from your forefathers, but with precious blood, as of a lamb unblemished and spotless, the blood of Christ. So anything that can redeem the soul of a man is the blood of Christ. Silver and gold can't do it. No matter how much you have it, no matter how much millions and billions and trillions of dollars you might have in your bank account, it's not enough to redeem your soul. It's not enough to redeem your brother's soul or anybody's soul. The only thing that can redeem a person is the precious blood of Christ, the most valuable thing in connection to redemption. And so the rich have no resources in connection to the redemption of a person's soul. Nor can a rich person use his wealth or her wealth to overcome death. That's another problem for the wealthy. No matter how rich you get, no matter how much you acquire, you can't overcome death. You might delay it a little bit with special medical technology and things like that, but ultimately, the wealthy are going to die and will not receive eternal life. They can't purchase eternal life with their wealth. After talking about the redemption of his soul is costly and he should cease trying forever, in verse 9, we read that he should live on eternally and that he should not undergo decay. The wealthy person can't purchase an escape from undergoing decay, from dying. And this is brought out in several places in the Psalm. He says their inner thought is that their houses are forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They have called their lands after their own names. So in their minds, they think that they can go on forever, and that their property is gonna remain forever. But he goes on and say in verse 12, "But man in his pomp will not endure. He is like the beasts that perish." And that's true of everybody, rich, poor, low social status, high social status. All of us are going to die like the beast. This is the way of those who are foolish, and of those of them are after them who approve their words. As sheep, they are appointed for Sheol. Death shall be their shepherd. And he goes on and talks about that a little bit more. But the idea here is that the wealthy, you shouldn't fear those who are wealthy because they have no power over death. Their wealth cannot help them overcome death. And so the wealthy aren't the people who we should envy. They have no control over the redemption, or they have no wealth that can purchase the redemption of a soul, nor can they overcome death through their wealth. But who is it that can do those two things? Is there anyone on the earth who can receive redemption? And is there anyone on the earth who can overcome death? Well, the psalmist said he could. It says in verse 15 of Psalm 49, "But God will redeem my soul from the power of Sheol, for he will receive me." And so it's people of faith who can acquire the things that the wealthy can't acquire and can't accomplish. That's why our faith is so precious and so valuable. It can acquire things that wealth and money cannot acquire. Faith can help us to receive redemption for our souls as it connects us to the blood of Christ, and faith can help us to even overcome the grave. As we place our faith in Jesus Christ, we have the hope of resurrection. That yes, maybe we'll die in one respect, but ultimately we'll be raised again into eternal life and thereby live forever. And that's something you can't purchase with money. And so it shouldn't be that we're envious of the rich. It ought to be that the rich are envious of us in the sense that we possess things that they cannot buy. And we have things that they cannot acquire through their wealth, through their money. And so let's be grateful for the wonderful and precious things we have through Jesus Christ. Things that go beyond just earthly goods and possessions and money and vacations and whatever else you might throw in there. We have been redeemed by the blood of Christ, and we have the hope of eternal life. You can't get much better than that. So let's be thankful for that. Let's be grateful for that. And let's not be envious of the rich. And let's not have a heart that lusts after money and wealth and possessions. But let's just be content with what we have. Be content with the fact that we have Jesus Christ, and in him we are complete. And we have everything that we need. So with that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.